Our topic for today is relevant laws and penalties of the different illegal vices. Okay? So first is Republic Act number 9208. Okay? It was made into law on May 26, 2003. So ano ba si 9208? Okay? Ito yung tinatawag natin na Anti-Trafficking in Person Act. Okay? So, an act to institute policies to eliminate trafficking in persons, especially on women and children, establishing the necessary institutional mechanism for the protection and support of trafficked persons, providing penalties for its violations and for other. Okay? So, napaka-importante ng Republic Act number 9208. So, sasabihin nyo naman, Sir, what is the connection sa vice control? Okay? So, isang emphasis dito is yung trafficking of women. Okay? Kasi commonly, etong mga trinatraffic na babae is nagpo-fall under prostitution. Okay? So, maraming lalaki na ang bisyo is prostitution. No? Mahirap yon na bisyo. Magkakaroon kayo doon ng sakit. So, totally, yung mga prostitute na yan, they are victims of trafficking. No? Human trafficking. Okay? So, hindi nila alam na pagpasok nila, kinuha sila, nirecruit sila, pagbagsak nila, they are prostitutes. Kawawa naman sila. Okay? So, declaration of policy, it's hereby declared that the state values the dignity of every human person, guarantees the individual rights. In pursuit of this policy, the state shall give highest priority to the enactment of measures and development of programs that will promote human dignity, promote the people from any threat of violence, exploitation, eliminate trafficking in persons, and mitigate pressures for involuntary migration and servitude of persons. Not only support trafficked persons, but more importantly, to ensure their recovery, rehabilitation, and reintegration to the mainstream of society. So it is clear na napaka-importante itong batas na to. For example, yung mga nare-rescue na prostitute. So mayroong program na naka-state ang government natin kung ano yung gagawin sa kanila para makabangon sila at maibalik nila yung normal na pamumuhay nila. Okay? It shall be a state policy to recognize the equal rights and inherent human dignity of women and men, as enshrined in the United Nations Universal Declaration on Human Rights and United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, United Convention on the Protection of Migrant Workers and Their Family, United Nations Convention Against Transnational Organized Crime, including its protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons, especially women and children, and all other relevant and universally accepted human rights instrument and other international convention to which the Philippines is a signatory. So, yun yung purpose ng pag-create ng batas na to. Okay? So, let's go now to definition. Okay? First, what is trafficking in person? Para maliwanagan tayo. So, it refers to the recruitment, pag-recruit, pag-transport, pag-transfer, or pag-harbor, or receipt of a persons with or without the victim's knowledge, consent, or knowledge within across national borders by means of threat or use of force or other forms of coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, abuse of power or position, taking advantage of vulnerability of the person, or giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation, which include at a minimum. Okay, the exploitation or the prostitution of others or other forms of sexual exploitation, forced labor, or service, slavery, servitude, or the removal of or sale of organs. So, maraming klase yung tinatawag nating trafficking of person. So, unahin na natin si prostitution. No, si prostitution, napaka-common na ginagawa. No, nililipat nila, pinapangakuan ng magandang trabaho kasi walang trabaho sa lugar nila, so nire-recruit yan. No, binibigyan ng magandang offer para sumama sila. So, pag sumama na sila, pagdating sa ibang lugar, hindi pala yun yung napangakong trabaho. So, ang bagsak nila is prostitutes. Okay? Yun yung isa. So, that is trafficking in person. Meron din tayo yung tinatawag na forced labor. No? Papangakuan, tapos pagdating sa ibang lugar, no, ang pinangako, engineer, pagdating doon, no, taga-maso ng bato, no, taga-gawa ng hollow blocks. Okay? Yun yung mga yon. At yung iba din, napaka-common ngayon pag makikita nyo, yung mga nandyan sa kalye, yung mga nanghihingi, yung mga yon nire-recruit yun. No? Nire-recruit ng mga organized group, tapos may percentage sila. Okay? Mas malaki pa yung pupunta sa kanila kumpara sa binibigyan nyo ng perang lilimos dyan sa mga kanto, no? Sa mga highways, sa mga bridge. Maraming nanghihingi. Yung mga yon nire-recruit din. Okay? That will fall under trafficking of persons. And yung iba din, binibenta yung mga organs. Okay? Yung pagbibenta ng organs. So, that will fall under trafficking in person. Okay? So, next is child. Refers to a person below 18 years of age. Pag sinabi natin child, that will a person below 18 years of age. Okay? Yun yung child. No? Pag sinabi naman natin prostitution, okay, sa mga lalaki, usually, yung mga yan, alam na kung pagpagong sahod, alam na kung saan pumupunta yung sahod, hindi sa asawa, kundi sa kabila. No. Refers to any act, transaction, scheme, or design involving the use of person by another for sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct in exchange for money, profit, or any other consideration. Okay? Yung word na prostitution, napaka-common yan. Okay? Anything in exchange of sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct. Okay? Nung panahon ng Yolanda, sa sobrang hirap ng pamumuhay nila doon, ang nangyari is kahit kapilang, okay? Kahit kapilang, pwede ka nang magkaroon ng sexual intercourse. Kasi kailangan na kailangan nila. Dilata mo, palit ng katawan ko. Yun yung mga common noon sa mga evacuation area. So maraming naging prostitute because of that instance. Yung iba, pinunta sa iba't ibang lugar. Ang babata ng mga na-transport noon. Okay? So, based on data. So, next is forced labor and slavery. refer to the extraction of work or services from any person by means of enticement, violence, intimidation or threat, use of force or coercion, including deprivation of freedom, abuse of authority, or moral ascendancy, death, bondage, or deception. Okay? So, yung death, bondage natin, may mga ganitong pan pa rin, no? Yung mga may utang, no? Sabihin nila, oh, magtrabaho na lang siya sa akin, yung mga ganon, yung utang nila. So, isa yon na forced labor and slavery. Meron din yung mga nire-recruit sa ibang lugar, pinagtatrabaho sa factories, tapos sinasahuran lang ang pinangako is 500, pero ang sinasahod lang nila is 200 at kinukulong sila doon sa mismong factory. Okay? Next is sex tourism. Refers to a program organized by travel and tourism related establishment and individual which consists of tourism package or activities utilizing and offering escort and sexual services as enticement for tourists. This includes sexual services and practices offered during rest and recreation periods for members of the military. So, ngayon, ay noon, nung wala pang COVID, very common ang sex tourism na tinatawag natin. Wherein, part na ng package. Okay, for example, 3 days, 2 nights in Boracay. So, tatanungin kanila kung kailangan mo ng kasama. Okay, that will be part of the escort service na tinatawag natin. So, yung escort mo, sasamahan ka doon sa 3 days and 2 nights hanggang sa pagtulog. So, special payment din ang babayaran mo doon. So, para madagdagan yung services, no, yun yung dinadagdag nila sa package nila. Okay? Pero hindi masyadong rampant. Especially yung mga Pilipino, hindi nila masyadong ino-offer to, no? Pero sa mga galing sa ibang bansa, ino-offer nila. Okay? Next is sexual exploitation. Refers to participation by a person in prostitution or the production of pornographic materials as a result of being subjected to a threat, deception, coercion, abduction, force, abuse of authority, debt, bondage, fraud, or through abuse of a victim's vulnerability. Okay? So, yung sexual exploitation naman, napaka-common, no? Kung minsan, yung mismong ina or parents pa mismo ang nag-i-exploit sa mga anak nila or binabayaran yung mga parents. So, sila mismo ang nagbibigay. So, napaka-saklap, no? Na kalakalan yung sexual exploitation. So, may mga taong yumayaman, nandun lang sa loob ng bahay, no? Pero, binubugaw na yung mga anak nila through social media or any other recordings. So, video calls, yung mga ganon, doon nila dinadaan. Okay? Debt, bondage, ito yung refers to the pledging by the debtor of his personal service or labor or those of a person under his control and security of payment. Ito yung mga hindi nakakabayad ng utang. So, pinagtatrabaho nila ng kung ano-ano, kinukulong sa bahay hanggang hindi makabayad ng utang niya. Okay? Pornography refers to any representation through publication, exhibition, cinematography, indecent shows, information technology, or whatever means of a person engaged in real or simulated explicit sexual activities or any representation of the parts of a person for primarily sexual purposes. Okay? Mayroon ngang panukalang batas ni Senador Soto regarding banning of pornographic materials in the Philippines. Wherein napakaganda naman, wherein it will reduce yung cases natin ng sexual abuse. Okay? Use of traffic person. Let's go now to the penalties. Okay? So, the penalties for use of traffic person, any person who buys or engage the services of a traffic person for prostitution shall be penalized as follow. Okay. First offense, 6 months of community service as may be deemed or determined by the court and a fine of 50,000 pesos. For example, nandun ka sa motel, no, nahuli ka, kasama mo yung prostitute na biktima ng trafficking in person. So, you are liable under this. So, 6 months community service and yun yung masakit, magbabayad ka ng 50,000 kahit binayaran mo lang siya ng 150. Okay, yung 150 mo magiging 50,000. Okay? Second and subsequent offense. So, eto na, makukulong ka na ng 1 taon and magbabayad ka ng 100,000. Ang saklap naman, di ka pa natuto sa isa, dinalawa mo pa. Okay? So, Article 202 of the Philippine Revised Penal Code defines prostitution as a crime only women can commit. Naku, marami akong kakilalang prostitute na lalaki. No, yung mga batang 150. No, okay? So, pwede rin silang mag-fall under prostitution. So, but according to the revised penal code, mga babae lang ang pwedeng mag-commit ng prostitution. Okay? So, under Article 202, penalty, for the purpose of this article, women who, for money or profit, habitually indulge in sexual intercourse or lascivious conduct are deemed to be prostitute. Any person found guilty of any of the offense covered of this article shall be punished by arresto minor or a fine not exceeding 200 pesos. And in case of recidivism, it will be dealt with arresto mayor in its medium period and to prison correctional, okay, in its minimum period or fine ranging from 200 to 2,000 pesos. Okay? Mababa, no? Kasi this is part of the revised penal code. Medyo kailangan na rin madagdagan yung penalties regarding doon sa prostitute. No, ginusto nila. No, ginugusto nila. Mas madali kasi ang pera pag ganon. So, mag-i-enjoy pa sila. But, ang problema is yung pangalan mismo nasisira. Yung dignidad ng isang tao. Sa bagay, kung wala namang bibili, hindi siya magbibenta. No? So, dapat, wag nating pasukin yung prostitution or wag kayong bumili ng mga babae, manligaw kayo ng maayos. Okay? Next, Republic Act number 9211. Okay? So, an act regulating the packaging, use, sale, distribution, and advertisement of tobacco products and for other purposes. Or in short, Tobacco Regulation Act of 2003. So, ito, ang purpose nito is, it is the policy of the state to protect the populace from hazardous product and promote the right to health and instill health consciousness among them. It is also the policy of the state consistent with the constitutional idea to promote the general welfare to safeguard the interests of the workers and stakeholders in tobacco industry, for the purpose that the government shall institute a balanced policy whereby the use, sale, and advertisement of tobacco products shall be regulated in order to promote a healthful environment and protect the citizens from the hazards of tobacco smoke, and at the same time ensure the interests of tobacco farmers, growers, workers, stakeholders, and not adversely compromise. Okay? Totally, napakaganda ng 9211. Okay? Unang-una, sa kalusugan ng mga Pilipino. Kasi maraming na-addict sa paninigarilyo. Okay? And then, yung mga taong nakakalanghap, okay, yung tinatawag nating second-hand smoker, no? Sila mismo ang natatamaan niyan and sa environment natin. Okay? And at the same time, tinaasan yung buwis, makikinabang din yung government natin. Okay? So, the purpose is to promote a healthful environment, inform the public of the health risks associated with cigarette smoking and tobacco use. Okay? If you will observe, pag bibili ka ng isang kahang sigarilyo, nandun yung health risk na tinatawag natin. Pag naninigarilyo ka, ganun ang babagsakan ng katawan mo. Okay? Regulate and subsequently ban all tobacco advertisement and sponsorship. So, wala na ngayon yung mga advertisement ng sigarilyo. Okay? Hindi katulad noon. Okay? Regulate the labeling of tobacco products. Protect. Ito yung pinakamaganda. Protect the youth from being initiated to cigarette smoking and tobacco use by prohibiting the sale of tobacco products to minors. Maganda siya, pero ang problema, hindi masyadong nai-implement. Kasi pag titignan natin, marami pa rin minors na nag-i-smoke. Okay? Yung iba, gumagamit na ng e-cigarette. Okay? Assist and encourage Filipino tobacco farmers to cultivate alternative agricultural crops to prevent economic dislocation. Kasi pag ititigil din natin yung pagbebenta ng sigarilyo, no, yung mga tobacco farmers natin ang apektado. So especially on the part of North, Ilocos, yung mga yan, maraming nagtatanim dyan ng tobacco. Ngayon, apektado sila wherein maghahanap sila ng ibang crops na pwedeng itanim aside sa tobacco. Kaya lang, medyo pagbabalik sila sa mga rice farming, ang problema is yung tubig. No? Nakaka-first crop lang sila. Okay? Create an interagency committee on tobacco to oversee the implementation of the provision of this act. Okay? So, what are the penalties if you commit this offense? Okay? Violation of Section 5 and 6 on the first offense, a fine not less than 500 pesos but not more than 1,000. Okay? On the second offense, okay, 1,000 pesos but not more than 5,000. On the third offense, matigas pa rin yung ulo. Okay? 5,000 but not more than 10,000, and the permits and license to operate shall be canceled or revoked. Okay? Yun yung pinaka masakit sa mga nag-violate. Okay? Violation of Section 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11. On the first offense, any person or any business entity or establishment selling to or distributing, purchasing a cigarette or any tobacco products for a minor shall be fined the amount of less than 5,000 or an imprisonment not more than 30 days. Kaya lang, tanong, meron na ba kayong nabalitaan? Wala pa. No, kasi hindi masyadong pinapansin. Hindi alam na violation pala ang pagbebenta ng sigarilyo sa minor. Kaya lang yung minor magaling magpalusot, sasabihin pinabili lang ng tatay ko, nanay ko, kapatid ko, uncle ko, yung mga yon. No, sa mga nagbebenta, please, huwag bigyan. Kasi bawal. Okay? You will be imprisoned for not more than 30 days, and you will be having a fine for 5,000 pesos. Okay? In violation is by any establishment of business entity, the owner, president, manager, or the most senior officer thereof is held liable. Okay? If a minor is caught, ito naman sa minor, selling, buying, or smoking cigarette or any other tobacco products, the provision of Article 189 of Presidential Decree number 603, or ito yung tinatawag nating Child and Youth and Welfare Code. Okay? So, it will undergo on the Child and Youth Welfare Code. So, doon siya responsable. Okay? So, violation of Section 13 to 27 on the first offense and a fine not more than 100,000 pesos or imprisonment of not more than 1 year, both at the discretion of court shall be imposed. Okay? On the second offense, a fine of 200,000 pesos or imprisonment not more than 2 years. Okay? Matigas pa rin yung ulo, mabot pa tayo sa third offense. In addition of a fine not more than 400,000 pesos or imprisonment not more than 3 years or both at the discretion of the court, the business permit and license in the case of business entity automatically be revoked or canceled. Okay, ito yung pagbibenta doon sa mga minors. Okay? In case of business entity or establishment, the owner, the president, the manager, or official is automatically liable. Okay? If the guilty officer is an alien, shall summarily be deported after serving his sentence and shall be forever barred from entering the Philippines. Pag sinabi nating alien, hindi po yun galing sa ibang mundo. No? Hindi nang galing sa universe. Okay? Galing po sa ibang bansa. Pag ginamitan natin ng term na alien. Okay? Hindi siya residents ng Philippines. Okay? Next, Republic Act 10586. So, an act penalizing persons driving under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, and similar substance and for other purposes. Ang tawag natin dito is Anti-Drunk and Drug Driving Act of 2013. Okay, napakaganda ng batas na ito. Okay? So, pursuant to the constitutional principle that recognize the protection of life and property and the promotion of the general welfare as essential for the enjoyment of the blessing of democracy, it is hereby declared the policy of the state to ensure road safety through the observance of the citizenry of the responsible and ethical driving standards. Tulad ng sinabi ko, no, ito ginawa para sa road safety. Hindi lang pinag-uusapan yung driver, kundi yung mga ibang taong matatamaan niya pag lasing siya or under the influence of drug. Towards this end, the state shall penalize the acts of driving under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, and other intoxicating substances and shall include the standards of safe driving and the benefits that may be derived from it through institutional programs and appropriate public information strategies. Okay? Kasi nakita nila na yung mga cause ng accident is yung mga lasing or under the influence of liquor. Medyo mataas. Kaya gumawa sila ng ganitong batas to protect the citizenry. Okay? So, marami na nakainom, nagmamaneho. No? Marami na rin namatay, lasing, nagmumotor, ayun. So, lumipad na sila. Okay? So, ano ba yung penalties pag uminom ka at nagmaneho? Okay? So, meron tayo dito, no, pag tinanong, paano ba nami-measure yung ininom mo? Meron tayong tinatawag na breath analyzer. Okay? Kaya lang, madalang lang yata ang mayroong breath analyzer and hindi pwedeng gamitin ngayon during pandemic or COVID yung breath analyzer. No? Kasi yun, bubugaan mo para makitang nakainom ka. Hindi lang naman kasi ang breath analyzer to test kung nakainom ka or under the influence of drugs. Yung test, meron din tayong individual test tulad ng uh, one feet standing, tapos maglalakad ka ng diretso, nakataas ang kamay, yung mga yon. So, that is a test kung kwan. Then, yung eye coordination. No. Susundan mo lang yung ballpen, tapos sundan mo, tingnan mo. No, pag hindi sumusunod yung mata mo, ibig sabihin, under the influence of liquor or drugs. Okay? So, allowable lang yata is 0.5 doon sa breath analyzer. No? So, ibig sabihin, pag 0.5, ang pwede mo lang inumin is dalawang San Mig Light or isang Red Horse. Okay? So, penalties. A driver found to have been driving a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, dangerous drugs, or other similar substance, provided under Section 5 of this Act shall be penalized as follow. Okay? If the violation of Section 5 did not result in physical injuries or homicide, the penalty is 3 months imprisonment and a fine ranging from 20,000 pesos to 80,000 pesos. Okay? If the violation resulted to physical injuries, the penalty under 263 of the revised penal code, the penalty provided by the next preceding subparagraph, which is higher, and a fine ranging from 100,000 pesos to 200,000 pesos. Okay, we're talking about revised penal code. If the violation, Section 5, resulted to homicide, the penalty is Article 249 of the revised penal code, a fine ranging from 300,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos. So, okay lang yun. Ito ang masama. No. The non-professional driver's license of a person found to be violated Section 5 of this Act shall be confiscated and suspended for a period of 12 months. So, ibig sabihin, kung pro yung lisensya mo or non-pro na tinatawag natin, no, pag nakainom ka, no, nahuli ka, so 12 months suspended yung license mo, ibig sabihin wala kang lisensya. No, wala kang lisensyang magmaneho. Okay, after 12 years, doon lang babalik. Pero pag matigas ang ulo mo, no, nagmaneho kang lasing, confiscated na yung lisensya mo, nadali ka na naman, automatically, revoke yung license mo. Okay? Paano naman pag professional driver's license yung hawak mo? Ito yung nakakakamot. No. Pag nakainom ka, nahuli ka, automatically, first offense, revocation of license. So, wala ka ng lisensya for life. So, marami pa rin ngayon yung nagmamaneho ng nakainom kasi they are not familiar with the policy or the law. Kaya lang, siguro, talagang matigas na talaga yung loob nila or wala talaga silang lisensya, hindi sila nag-apply. Kasi if you will undergo a theoretical driving course, eto yung i-discuss. Yung penalties, yung drunk driving, yung hindi pagsuot ng helmet, hindi pagsuot ng seatbelt, yung mga yun, i-discuss yun. Okay? And prescribe penalties. Okay? The prosecution for any violation of this act shall be without prejudice to criminal prosecution for violation of the revised penal code, Republic Act 9165 and other special laws. If that is drug, automatically sasagot siya sa Republic Act 9165 or yung tinatawag natin Dangerous Drug Act of 2002. Okay? Next is Presidential Decree number 1602 Okay? Prescribing stricter penalties on illegal gambling. Okay? Isa ring bisyo to. No? Illegal gambling. No? Maraming nagsusugal. No? Kahit pustahan pa tayo. For sure, maraming nagsusugal. Okay? Whereas Philippine gambling laws such as Articles 195, 199 of the Revised Penal Code, Forms of Gambling and Betting, RA 3063, Horse Racing and Bookies, PD 449, the cockfighting, PD 483, game fixing, PD 510, slot machines, in relation to opinion number 33 and 97 of the Ministry of Justice, PD 1306, 06, high alay bookies, and other city and municipal ordinance or gambling all over the country prescribe penalties which are inadequate to encourage to discourage or stamp out these pernicious activities. Okay? Napaka-active ngayon ng kapulisan natin regarding implementation of illegal gambling. So, sunod-sunod yung mga accomplishment nila, yung mga patong itong dyan sa gilid. No? So, napaka-active yung law enforcement natin in terms of gambling. Okay? Kasi yung implementation ng social distancing and para mabawasan yung pagkalat ng COVID-19. Kaya panay yung implementation nila sa illegal gambling activities. Okay? So, penalties. No. The penalty of lesion correctional in its medium period of a fine ranging from 1,000 to 6,000 pesos. And in cases of recidivism, paulit-ulit mong ginagawa, the penalty of lesion mayor in its medium period, a fine ranging from 5,000 to 10,000 pesos shall be imposed. Okay? So, number one, any person other than those referred into the succeeding subsections who in any manner shall directly or indirectly take a part in any illegal and unauthorized activities tulad ng cockfighting, lucky nine, yung mga yon, lotto, okay? They are liable under this law. Okay, kahit sabihin mong nanonood ka lang, hindi rason yun. Bakit nandyan ka? No. Dapat, pag nandun ka, nakakita ka ng ganun, isumbong mo. Hindi ka pupunta doon at manonood at makikialam. Okay? Nasa huli ang pagsisisi. Okay? Kahit bahay mo, may nagsusugal doon, paalisin mo. Bakit? Ikaw mismo uulihin, baka sabihin, ikaw yung nagpapatakbo ng pasugalan. So, dapat ganon. Okay? Any person who shall knowingly permit any form of gambling referred to in the preceding subparagraph to be carried out or inhabited or uninhabited place or any building, vessel, or the means of transportation owned or controlled by him if the place where gambling is carried on has a reputation of gambling place or that prohibited gambling is frequently carried therein. So, ibig sabihin, you are liable. Bahay mo yun. No, dapat alam mo yung nangyayari sa loob. Okay? He shall be punished by prison correctional in its maximum period and a fine of 6,000 pesos. Nako, patay na. No, so dapat kung area mo yon, bahay mo yon, dapat walang nagsusugal doon. Paalisin mo. No, baka pag na-region, you will be liable under the law. Okay? So marami ng forms ng sugal ngayon, especially online. May online sabong na, online wedding, yung mga yan. So dapat na-check nyo kung legal ba yan o hindi. Okay? So that ends my presentation. Thank you for watching.